Okay, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. I was playing around with the settings on Zoom and I was like, I think I've broken it now. No, that works. That's good. Oh, I've done something weird. I've somehow in I thought I was being really clever. I think I've somehow integrated mine and Claire's Zoom account. She's going to kill me. I don't know how I've done that. Like everything, all of our meetings are showing up on the same one. Right. Okay. That is to be. I'm not someone that should be left alone with technology. It's not. No. Me and technology, we're not friends. Right. Anyway. I'm hoping this is going to be all right. Okay. Right, guys. We're going to lay down on the mat. So let me just turn the heating down. Always a good idea before we get going. Right, so I'm gonna leave the camera up here like that. Turn on original sound. I don't know what I've done. Do you know what? You can hear me, it's fine, you can see me. Let's just do it. All right, guys, so come and lay down on your mats. Okay, you're gonna bend your knees and have your knees and feet hip width apart. Can you see me? Yeah, okay. All right, so from there, just get the feeling that your hips, knees and ankles are just tracking those two nice parallel lines. And then I want you guys just to put your hands on your rib cage and just take a lovely big breath into the ribs. Feel the ribs expand. And as you exhale, let them just gently soften. We're going to keep that going a few more times. So taking the breath low down into the bottom part of the lungs. As you take that lovely big breath in and as you breathe out, you just allow your ribs just to soften and gently drop down. Let's just do one more big breath in and breathing out. Very nice. Okay, from there, just bring your arms down by the side of your body and just gently rock the pelvis forwards and backwards, just one way and the other. Think about going north and south. Okay, there's no like, don't squeeze or don't tense or really try to do this. Just think about that very gentle movement, forwards and backwards, okay, north and south. If we think of forwards and backwards as north and south, okay, and then we're going to stop in the middle and we're going to go east and west. So I just want you guys, it's not coming from the knees. I mean, the legs will naturally move a little bit, but you're just thinking about your pelvis just gently going one side and the other, east and west. Okay, so let's do a bit of a pelvic around the world. So you're going to go from the north to the east to the south to the west, around the world basically, okay? So I'm just making little circles with my pelvis, and I'm not forcing anything. I'm just doing like a gentle circle. And you might notice there's bits that, oh, that doesn't feel quite right there. That feels a bit icky. That's a bit stiff there. And that's normal, okay? There's going to be bits that might feel a little bit weird. We're going to change the direction. So again, we're just going slowly around in a nice, easy little circle. And then just stop in the center. So establish where your neutral spine is. Think, right, I'm going to have a cup of coffee on my pubic bone. It's not going to spill. Underneath my lower back is enough room to get my fingertips, not a whole hand, okay? So from there, we're going to do leg slides, but we're not going to actually slide the foot on the mat. We're going to pick the foot up. So we're going to gently pick the foot up a little bit without the pelvis moving. Lengthen the leg all the way to the end. Bring it back, place it down. And then the other side. So we're just going to do this a few times. And this is really just to get those stabilizers warmed up and woken up so they understand what's going on. And you can feel that that hip is like opening. The hip opens as the leg stretches, yeah? There's no change going on underneath the back. That's staying in the same position. Your core is very much engaged. And that leg just reaches away. Okay, very nice. Keep the feeling that you're lightly pressing your shoulder girdle, your shoulder blades, and your arms sort of very gently into the floor to give you connection, but you're not letting your rib cage flare. Okay, let's do one more. And then if we put our hands on our hip bones, we're going to go for some knee drops. Okay, so one knee opens out to the side, and then it comes back. And then we alternate to the other side. Now, the whole point of this exercise is not to see how far you can open the knee. That's kind of irrelevant. It's to do with what the other side is doing. So it's to do with stabilizing the pelvis. So we don't need to go too far out with the knee. That's not the point. You go a little bit out with the knee and you focus on the pelvis stabilizing, the other leg staying really still, and the pelvis, you know, nothing's moving. So that's our focus. And with your hands on your hip bones, you can kind of feel what's going on there, okay? Just relaxing your shoulders and making sure that your head is not sort of doing like a tip back, yeah? So relax those shoulders away from the ears. And watch that you don't collapse onto the ankle. So as you take that leg out to the side, watch you don't just flop onto the foot. You almost take the weight out of the foot. Okay, finish there. Bring your arms back down by the side of your body. Let's go for a hip bridge. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, roll pubic bone to belly button, and you're going to roll about halfway. So I'm only going up to here. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, scoop the waistline in and roll it down through the spine. Tailbone goes out last. So we're going to keep going, just those half curls, okay? So I'm just rolling halfway up, scooping in the belly, keeping that pelvis nice and level. As I'm coming down, I'm noticing, is it wafting side to side or is it staying nice and level? That's what we're looking for. And we're not going very high, we're just going about halfway up. I want you guys to think about what your feet are doing. Make sure that your feet are not scrunching or that you're not bending onto one side of the foot more than the other, for example. Very much relax your shoulder, like, you know, stabilize them. Feel like you're kind of pulling the shoulders into the floor, but again, you're going to do it in a way where you're not arching your back. This is going to be your last one. We're going to scoop and roll down. And then I want you guys to let your arms float up towards your chest with your palms facing towards each other. And then as they go down, you're going to turn the palms to face the mat. And you're going to go that way. So we're going to inhale, palms face towards each other. Exhale, palms face the floor to come down, okay? Inhale to lift and exhale to come down. So those arms are only going to your chest height. Okay, that's only as far as they're going to go, just to the chest height, that's it. And you're maneuvering, that's the right word, you're activating the movement from the shoulder girders. So you're thinking about the muscles around the shoulder blades switching on. So we're not going really fast, we're really controlling it. It's kind of like, as you're going down with the arms, imagine you're sort of pushing something down. Yeah, imagine you've got some weight there. So you're going to sort of gently kind of almost press them down. But remember, it's coming from around the armpit, not the actual hands. Okay, so I'm going to get you now to do it and come up into flexion as the palms face down to the floor. So we come up into flexion, stay, shoulder blades should be off the floor, tummy is flattening in, and then we come back down with the arms. So we're going to do the same thing. Inhale to begin, exhale up, inhale, exhale down. Keep doing that. Make sure, guys, that you don't move your pelvis. So do not tuck your tailbone under. Notice and make sure you're not squeezing your bottom and you're not curling the pelvis under. That's important. The other thing to make sure that you don't do is let your belly pop. Okay, so you've got to think about your tummy flattening. So as you're coming up, it's the feeling that your waistline is drawing in like a belt that's just being done up a little bit tighter. That's the feeling you want to have. So pelvis doesn't move, shoulder blades come off the floor. So we're not just lifting the head. You know, sometimes I see people do this and just their heads come off. Actually, you've got to get the shoulder blades off the floor. But what we don't want to do is scrunch. Okay, that's important. And I'm reaching my fingertips towards my ankle bones. So if you think about where your ankle bones are, yeah, lateral malleolus, I'm trying to reach my fingertips towards the ankles rather than hike up, yeah? Okay, this time, don't come up into flexion. Just let the arms float down to the floor, and they're just hovering, and we're going to do the 100 just with the arms, okay? So tummy's going to be flat, keep the gap between the ribs and the hips the same, the spine stays in neutral, and your head doesn't tip back, you're looking slightly forwards. So you're going to start to beat the arms, and it's coming from the shoulder girdle. We're going to do 5 little breaths in and 5 little breaths out. So we breathe in, and breathe in through the nose, and breathe out through the mouth. Just watch when you're doing it that you're not going into a state of tension. So it's really strong, but make sure you're not then starting to hunch the shoulders up, because that's going against what we're trying to do, okay? 5 little breaths in through the nose, 5 little breaths out through the mouth. Core is engaged, pelvis doesn't move, and stop. Lovely. Float the arms back up, palms face each other. I'm going to give you the option now. You can either do exactly what we just did, or we can do it in flexion. So choose which way you want to do it now. If you're up in flexion, come up in flexion. The only thing I'm going to say, if you are up in flexion like this, don't do that with your head, because that's going to be a lot of strain on your neck. You've either got to be up or head down, not there, because that's not going to be good on the neck. So you're looking through the legs, flatten the belly in, make sure the tailbone doesn't move, and start to beat the arms. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in through the nose, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, really power through those arms. And listen guys, as you fatigue, don't fall back, stay lifted. Try to get the feeling that your chest is lifting. So your chin should not be jammed down onto your chest, but it also doesn't want to be tipping back, okay? Your chest is lifting to the ceiling. Your tummy is very much flattening, and your arms are nice and strong. We're almost there, guys. Stay and roll it down. Doesn't that feel lovely? Okay, stay here. Keep the core engaged. Float one leg to tabletop. Place it back down. Don't let anything change here. Float the other leg up to tabletop. Place it back down. So I want you guys just to keep doing that, but really focus on the stability of your pelvis. There is no movement. Your hip bones are staying put. Your sacrum stays put. You do not want to feel that your sacrum is that you're rolling into it as the leg lifts. Okay, you shouldn't feel that your lower back pushes into the floor. I mean, don't try and arch it away, but it stays in the same position. So now lift one leg. Don't do it yet. Just keep that one leg lifted. think about lifting the second leg. And as you go to do it, you'll know if you're about to do a bit of a compensation. So you mustn't let your belly push out. You're just going to lift the leg without the tummy pushing, or the back arching or pushing. Yeah, so nothing, everything just stays stable. Okay, so now you're here. Shoulder girdle is stabilized. You're going to press the arms gently into the floor. Again, make sure you're not letting the ribs pop out. That's one of the hardest things I find with people, is the ribs want to jut out. So just soften those ribs down. So now you're going to extend one leg forwards and gently bring it back. Then the other side, let's have a breath. Exhale, extend the leg away. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, extend the leg away. Inhale, bring it back. Now, the further out that leg goes, the more you've got to tighten your belt. So I don't mean like grip and tense it, but it's like a little corset that's being tightened. And that's why we use the expiration, because that's what helps you engage those muscles. Now, if you were doing this and you were thinking, actually, I can't cope with that, I'm trying to do it and it's not quite working for me, you could go and change it to a toe tap down, okay? And if you're somebody that to have two legs up like that is too much at the moment, then you would stay with your feet on the floor and you would go back to the single leg lift one at a time, okay? So you could always regress it. And if you are struggling with technique and you feel like, you know, you are cheating a little bit, back off a bit, because you will get more out of doing an easier option that you can do well than doing an advanced option wrong, okay? We want to get the right muscles working. Now, keep the legs in tabletop. Let's see if we can add an opposite arm. So as the leg extends away, your arm is going to go overhead. So now we're working that cross sling, and now we've got to work even harder to not let the ribs flare up and the back arch. Then you bring it back. Now this is where sometimes people get confused, because then people start doing things like this. Literally, arm and leg go out, bring it back in, stop. Then do the other side, arm and leg away, bring it back in, stop. Stop every single time, otherwise it gets confusing, okay? Now, the leg, if you notice, my leg is not very low. I'm not letting it flop down there. It's on a sort of 45-degree angle. And I'm going to breathe out as I extend. Breathe in to bring it back. Breathe out to extend. Breathe in to bring it back. Everything is coming from your center. So you're really focusing on your core, connecting very, very, very much. Exhale away. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, reach it away. Inhale, bring it back. Let's just do that one more time on each side with really good control, really good focus. And you're going to feel your hips working as well. Now place one foot down and then the other. So make sure the feet are in line with the sit bones. We did a hip bridge. Now we're going to go straight into the shoulder bridge. But we're going to do it with a bit more shoulder stability. So you're going to lift your arms back up so your palms face towards each other. Engage the shoulder girdle. So that means you're going to gently draw your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Yeah? Never pull them into the floor. It's always that way, towards the hips is where they want to be going. So you're going to keep that stability, feet and knees are hip width apart, and we're going to roll up into a bridge. Take a breath in, exhale, pubic bone to belly button, scoop the belly, squeeze the bottom, and then we lift. Now when we get to the top, we want to have the pelvis higher than the rib cage. Use your shoulder girdle here. Draw the shoulder blades down more, and that's going to give you more control. The gap between the ribs and the hips is the same. So you're using your glutes. Now stay here. Do not thrust up, but squeeze your bottom a little bit more. When you squeeze your bottom and flatten your tummy, you can feel you get more height with the pelvis, but the ribs didn't move. Then you're going to draw the waistline in, scoop the belly, and you roll down in sequence. Tailbone comes out last. So you're rolling your spine with segmental control. Let's go again. Inhale. Exhale, roll. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll down. Let's remember those connections. Remember what the feet are doing. Staying in a nice position, not scrunching. Remember what the shoulder girdle is doing, not collapsing. Remember what the ribs are doing, what the glutes need to be doing. Remember that you don't want to let your knees go flaring out like Charlie Chaplin. We want to keep them tracking together, right? As if you're holding something between the legs. Let's do a couple more. Should feel really lovely and nourishing on the spine. And it's nice to feel those glutes so lovely and strong. Let's just do one more. And then we gently roll it down through the spine, bone by bone by bone by bone. Lengthen it away. Okay, well done. Just draw your knees into your chest and just do like a couple little circles around one way. And then the other. Easy. Nice little self-massage there. Okay, really nice. We're going to come up to 4-point kneeling, okay? So, hands under shoulders, knees underneath the hips. I'm going to tuck this in because it's easier for you to see what's going on. Okay. So, hands under shoulders, knees underneath the hips, okay? What's really important here is that we don't collapse like that. You need to be pressing away from the floor, shoulders away from this. You're very lifted. It's never this. It's always up. So your head, you're pushing that. If I push through the heels of the hands, like I'm gently pushing the floor away, I've got more connection. My back's nice and flat. Then your belly has to pull in, okay? So if you pull in your lower belly, it will lengthen your spine and stop this dipping happening. Because if you try and change that dip by moving your back, this is what happens. And then the upper back frowns. And then we try and flatten out the top of the back, and the back dips. And then this just keeps happening. And what we want is the shoulder girdle stabilized and the back flat, so we pull in from the front here. Guys, slide your back leg away, keep it on the floor, slide it away, so the toe is touching the floor. And at the same time you do that, the opposite arm is also going to extend out in front. And then you're going to take a moment just to hold that position. And make sure that you're not overly trying to go out like that. You're keeping the torso where it is. Then you just slide the leg back in, back to the start position. Then we're going to go the other way, okay? So we're going to exhale, extend away, and imagine that you've got a tray of drinks on your back that you do not want to spill, okay? Then you gently bring it back in. So let's add a breath pattern to that. Breathe out to extend. Breathe in to bring it back in. Exhale away. Inhale back in. Now, just keep lifting your lower tummy muscles, yeah? So you're pulling your lower tummy in towards your spine. As the arm and leg reach away from your body, you're not going to disconnect. So yes, the arm and leg are reaching away, but you're very much drawing them back in. The shoulder draws back into the joint. The hip draws back into the femur draws back into the joint. It's not disconnecting, it's staying strong. So your spine doesn't move. Exhale away, inhale back. You're going to make sure that your knees always come back to the same position. I find that if people have got tight hips, bit by bit, we end up bringing them, and then all of a sudden we're sort of here before we realise something weird has happened. In the same breath, you know, you don't want to be out there either. You just want to have the knees directly underneath the hips. Let's do one more on each side, guys. Really nice, keep that height, keep the tummy pulling in, really thinking about your stabilizers. Stretch it away and relax. Okay, just come off the wrists for a second, because sometimes that can be painful on the wrists. It just is, yeah, that you're strengthening the muscles around the wrists, because we're going to go back onto them and we're going to work again posterior chain, and we're going to think a little bit about our triceps as well. So hands under shoulders, and we're in that 4-point kneeling position. I want you to again think lift, don't think, yeah, lifting away. You are going to pull the belly in. You're going to bend your elbows, and your elbows are going to point towards your hips, and then you're going to lift. Okay, so shoulder blade will stabilize. I do not want to be doing this. That's just me going head down, collapse into the shoulders, or I'm going to bend the elbows a bit. That's not it. You've got to don't let your head go past your shoulders. It has to stay above the shoulders all the time, and then you know you're doing it correctly. So your elbows point towards your hips, but your head and neck mustn't droop, okay? Your tummy's pulling in. There's no pressure going through the lower back, and you don't need to go really low. Like, you might just do a little one like this. You can go lower if you've got good technique, and that's fine. We just don't want to do this. Yeah, it's got to be done with good technique. So it's not about the range, it's about getting it done well. Let's do one more, all the way down to where you can, and back up. Perfect. Okay, lay onto your tummy. Okay, so you're going to put one hand on top of the other. Your legs are going to be away from you with energy going through them, like someone is pulling them away from you. Okay, you're then going to take your fingertips and thumbs and just rest them on the floor by the shoulders. Your elbows are going to be ever so slightly lifted. I don't mean like that, I mean just hovered off the mat, but your shoulders are pulling away from your ears. Now I'm looking directly at my mat. I'm not doing that with my neck, and I'm also not trying to look in like that. I'm literally looking straight down. It's like I've got enough space to get an apple between my chin and chest. Then I've got to very much pull my tummy in, probably more than you think you need to. Sometimes you think, oh yeah, that's, pull the belly in, like lifting through the tummy, through the belly. Don't move your back to do it. Pull the belly in, okay? So then when you pull the belly in, you can feel this space in the lumbar spine. So your shoulder blades are going to be pulling towards your hips, and you're going to trace one arm forwards and back. And then the other side, you're going to go forwards and back. But as the arm goes forwards, the shoulder draws down away from the ear. So we're not getting this. Yeah? We've got shoulders away from ears and trace. It doesn't matter. Even if you did like a little one like that, you might have more range and you might go further. But the goal is not, oh yeah, I've got to do the biggest movement I can. The goal is to get the technique right. So if you're going right out there, but you're sort of doing a bit of a cheat, there's literally no point doing it. You might as well go smaller. Now, what's really important here is that you're pulling in your waistline. Because if you don't pull in your waistline, your lower back is going to become very painful, because you're just going to sink into it. So if you're feeling pressure in the lower back, it just means you've got to pull your tummy in more. And lengthen your legs away from your body. So where you should be feeling this is kind of like around the upper mid back. The postural muscles are working. We're going to do one more on each side. Keep lifting up through your tummy. This is your last one. And then relax and come back into a shell stretch. Well done. Sit back, forehead on the floor, just go to wherever feels comfortable. Okay, well done, guys. Come and lay on your side. You might want to get a Actually, no, don't use a pillow today. For this next exercise, you can, but this particular one I think is actually better without a pillow. So you're going to make a straight line from the top of your head to your toes, okay? So if I was to look down, I can just about see my feet, right? I don't mean I'm going to flex them like that so I can see them. I just want to be able to see them. If I can't see them at all, it's because my legs are swinging back there. So if anything, they need to be slightly forwards where I can just about see them. Then once I've established that, I want to have my head looking, you know, out. I don't want to be sort of stuck down here. I want to be in a nice straight line. Shoulders are away from the ears. This hand is in front of you to give you a bit of support, not lean into. So lengthen your legs away from your head. So you've got a gap underneath here, but still really keep that connection of the femur in the acetabulum, okay, in the hip and ball socket. So as you lift your top leg slightly, you are also going to lift your head. And then you're going to come down. And I don't mean like strain the neck, I just mean imagine you're sort of being pulled and down. And it doesn't need to be big. It's kind of like your head is going that way and your feet are going that way. So you're still keeping that long line, you're just lifting slightly and down. And as you lift, the gap underneath the waistline needs to stay the same. So what we don't want is like just that. And I've just collapsed and pushed into the floor. I'm going to keep that gap there. So I've got that stability. And I'm not using my arms to like sort of push off of. What I am thinking about is the shoulder girdle. So underneath my armpit on this arm I'm laying on, I'm pulling the armpit into my body. And that's giving me some really nice connection. Do one more. Now just keep your head resting on your arm. Lift both of your legs up without the gap here changing. Okay, and they're very much squeeze them together. Pull in, pelvis stabilized. You're going to go for like a scissor leg. We're going to go one way and the other. And we're going to keep the legs nice and straight. We're not going to bend the knee. So especially when the bottom leg goes behind you, you have to make sure that the knee doesn't do a bit of a cheat and doesn't sort of want to bend in. You're going to keep it nice and long. Reach, reach. So everything is stabilizing. Lovely long legs, keeping that pelvis nice and still and making sure we're not rolling into the arm. Now bring the legs together, flex the ankles, point them away, flex, still keeping this gap here, point, relax the shoulders away from the ears, flex, point, one more, flex, point, relax, well done. Bend the knees, okay, and then you're going to open your back so it's on the floor, arms are wide. I've got all of my shoulder blades on the floor. I'm not sort of half lifting up like this. I've moved in a way that my shoulder blades are touching the mat, my arms are out, and I'm going to now look towards my back arm, okay, but my legs are very much reaching in the opposite direction. So I'm now going to lift that arm up and I'm going to follow it over and I'm going to close the hands together. I've closed the book. Now I'm going to draw a rainbow over my head with my arm and I'm going to keep moving in the direction. I'm sort of looking where my armpit is. Yeah, I'm not looking right at it. I'm not looking up there. I've just got my eye gaze going in that general direction. And my shoulder blades are on the floor. What I don't want to do is go back like that, and I'm just doing that, and this is all up. Shoulder blades down, okay? So I'm going to go over, and then I go around, overhead, shoulder, and melt the rib cage into the floor. And as you're melting the rib cage down, keep the knees very much facing in the opposite direction. So you get that full stretch, okay? Exhale across and inhale to open. So that exhale is going to facilitate the flexion, and that inhale is going to help to facilitate the extension. And it should just feel like a very lovely stretch through your body. That's lovely. We're going to do one more. Over we go. And we're making sure the pelvis doesn't just flop back as we open the arm. And relax. Okay, we're going to go around to the other side. So, round we go. Making a straight line from fingertip to toes. Okay, hand in front. Everything stacked, shoulder stacked, pelvis stacked, little gap underneath. As we lift the top leg, and remember, we're not thinking up, we're thinking long. We go long with the leg and lift the head slightly, and then down. But what you're thinking of is this gap here. This gap mustn't change. I don't want to feel that my waistline is pushing into the floor as I come up. And it's very controlled. Remember, with Pilates, the movements are strong, controlled, but they're never tense. There's never any tension. If you are tense in your body's not going to like it. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me, thank you. Hay fever season is upon us, which is always good fun. I spend most of the month of June usually looking like I've, well, it's not a good look, let's put it that way. Never a good look. I never look good in the summer. Hay fever head. Okay, reaching away. This is our last one. Coming down and rest your head. So still keep the gap. Squeeze the legs together, lift them. And they're reaching away, but they're anchored into the hips, okay? So then we go for that little scissor. And we keep the legs long. So that bottom leg, when it goes back, it doesn't bend. We mustn't bend the knee to cheat. You've got to work hard. It's very easy just to go. It's very easy to go, oh yeah, I'm going back because I'm bending the knee. We've got to do it the right way. Lengthen those legs. Keep drawing in the tummy. Pelvis is stabilized. Little gap underneath us. It's all about that control. You're working so many muscles here. I mean, you're working the hip stabilizers, but you're also really working like your pelvic floor. You're challenging that cross because we're that cross section. You're challenging transverse abdominis. And then bring the legs back together and down. Bend the knees. And then you're going to open so your back is flat on the mat. So I've got both of my shoulder blades on the floor. I'm not doing that. I'm down with it. I'm down with it, baby. Look towards your back arm. Exhale across, close the jaw. Inhale, trace that your head following that general direction. The further back your arm goes, the more you've got to focus on pulling the knees in the opposite direction. So my knees are going that way as my arm goes back. So you get that lovely twist in the spine. We're getting that full-on stretch in the spine, and it feels absolutely amazing. So nice. And breathe. Remember, guys, if we hold our breath, it doesn't quite work. If we breathe, our body thanks us for it. We get that gorgeous connection. It should just feel really nice. And just go to where it feels good for you. You don't need to force anything. Lovely. We're going to do one more. And over we go. Really nice. Okay, super duper. So just bring yourself up to a sitting position. Okay, all right. That was lovely. Oh, feels good, doesn't it? Right, so bend your knees and just sit up nice and tall. Just relax those shoulders down. You've got your knees and feet hip width apart, okay? I'm going to get you guys to put one hand on top of the other and put it behind your head. But I want you to pull your head slightly into your hands. Never push out that way. Always pull the head into the hands. If you're somebody that can't get into this position well and you're a bit like, I can't do that, just go to here, okay, and that's fine. But otherwise you're lifting your head up and you're pulling your head into your hands. You are going to do a little half roll back. So you're going to roll through the sacrum. I'm looking down, but I haven't collapsed. I didn't collapse. I mean, like a C shape, yeah? Then you're going to go over, but I've got lots of space between my body and my legs, and I'm definitely not letting my neck drop. I'm still pushing my head into my hands. And then I'm going to stack from the bottom of the spine all the way to the top of the head. And I'm constantly pulling my shoulder blades into the body, okay? I'm going to turn onto an angle. So I'm going to inhale. As I exhale, I'm going to roll down. Inhale over. Exhale up. Inhale, okay. Down we go. Don't do this though, guys. Don't do this. Yeah, you've got to really think about your technique. You've got to pull your head into your hands. We roll down. We scoop the belly. Flatten in, no bulging. Flatten in, yeah? Then you go over. And imagine when you're here, there's a lot of space between your body and your legs. You're not trying to collapse onto it, okay? Then you're going to stack from the base of the spine all the way up. Still pushing your head into your hands, okay? Let's just do a couple more. If this hurts your neck, it's because you're pushing it and pulling it. It shouldn't hurt the neck, okay? If it does, you've got to have a little rethink on your technique. Let's do one more, guys. And over. And rolling up. Okay, well done. Just put your hands down by the sides. Now, if you just put them at the sides, I don't mean like, now I'm collapsing like this. You're going to sit tall, fingertips and thumbs on the floor, lightly press into them to give you height. It's the feeling that you're lifting up, but never like pushing the chest out. Always soften that rib down. So all you're going to do is turn your head one way, bring it back into the center, and then turn your head the other way, bring it back into the center, and keep going. So your postural muscles are working. We're not just doing it, we're not just doing that. Yeah, we're up. We're not letting the chin stick forward, so bringing the head in. We're not jamming the chin down, we're just bringing the head in. And we're just going side to side. Relaxing the shoulders. And can you engage your core? Can you think, actually, I could probably lift in a little bit through my belly button, through my pubic bone. I can sort of draw in. I can feel like I can bring my sit bones a little bit closer together as I'm doing this. Let's do one more each way. Okay, lovely. We're going to roll down and let's just do it really nicely in sequence. So you might want to come forward a little bit. Just put your hands on your, once we're down there, we're staying down there, okay? So put your hands on your shins. We're going to relax the shoulders. We're going to scoop the belly and we're just going to roll through the spine, scooping the belly. Don't squeeze your bottom and we are there. And that feels very nice, yeah? Okay, so Let one leg stretch out straight and draw the other one in, hold behind your thigh. Elbows out slightly, shoulders away from the ears. You want that bottom leg to stretch away. If the bottom leg's bending, that is showing that your pelvis is curling under. So you have to stretch the bottom leg out straight. The top leg, we're going to do a hamstring stretch. If I do that, I'm not really stretching the hamstring. I've just stretched the whole leg up like this. If I want to stretch the hamstring, which is between the knee and the, like this bit here, yeah? I'm going to keep the leg really close to my chest. So as I unfold the knee, it doesn't matter really how straight the leg goes. The fact is that the thigh doesn't move away from the body. So I want to try and straighten it as much as I can, but the minute it starts to go out there, it's not as effective. So it's kind of like you want your knee to touch your chest, and it has to stay there. And the bottom leg is stretching away straight as well, so it's not curling up. Because you see this a lot, and all that's happened is I've just curled under. It looks like I've gone really far, but it's because I'm pushing off that bottom leg. So bottom leg stretches out straight, and then you just gently unfold the leg, but only to the point where you don't pull the leg away from the body, okay? Relax the shoulders and just make sure that you're not tensing up in the shoulder and neck area. Lovely, let's change sides, okay? So, hold underneath the thigh, bottom leg reaches away, and keep the thigh really close to your body, and you gently unfold, but don't start to do that. Just keep the leg close, only unfold to the point where the leg stays close to the body, okay, and relax the shoulders. Watch we're not up here. Very easy with those shoulders. And it might go a little bit shaky, a bit shuddery. And then relax. Awesome. Okay, well done, guys. Right, we're just going to come up to standing. Okay, so gently, slowly come on up. And let's do a little bit of standing work to finish. I prefer to do standing work off of the mat. You will get a better balance. I mean, if you want more of a challenge, I guess go on the mat, but it just feels quite nice just being off of the mat when you're standing. Okay, so all we're going to do is stand with the feet underneath the hips, and we're just going to gently go forwards and backwards into the balls of the feet, into the heels. We're not lifting up really, we're just shifting weight. Okay, awesome. And then just hold in the center, get that height going through the body. Okay, lifting up, shoulders and ribs are down. Step one foot forwards. Then check you've got the weight even between both sides. So you're not leaning into the back one or the front one. You're right in the center. You're there in the center, okay? All right, so we're going to do a rotation. The same arm as the leg that's in front. The one that's in front, the same arm as the leg that's in front, is going to lift, and you're going to look behind you and open both arms. And it comes down. And it sweeps up, look behind you, reach both of those arms in opposite directions. And we're going to keep going. And we're going to allow for the pelvis to move naturally, but we're not going to let the pelvis like twist and swing, okay? We're going to keep headlights on the pelvis, just pointing forwards. We're thinking about keeping those shoulders down away from the ears. We're lifting through the pelvic floor. The transverse abdominis is switched on, and we're getting this gorgeous stretch in the spine. This is the last one. Now just stay where you are. See if you can bring the front foot so it's completely in front of the back one. So you're on the tightrope. And then as you're standing there, look at one thing that's not going to move. Try not to look down because it will bring you down. Look straight ahead of you, and you're trying to stay completely still. So you don't want your back ankle to start flickering. You want it to be like still, as still as you can. Awesome. Okay, well done. Bring the feet back to parallel. Take the other leg forwards, like a foot space forwards. Check where the weight is. Make sure we're even. Same arm as the front leg, that's the moving arm. Up and over, look behind you, reach those arms in opposite directions. Coming down. Inhale, reach it out, open the chest. Exhale down. And it just, you know what? When we're moving the spine and we're creating space in the body, it just feels really nice. That feels absolutely gorgeous. Reach, 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 reach. Lovely. And just check and just think in your head, think, oh, am I on one leg more than the other? Or is that weight in the middle? That's what we're looking for. Having that weight nice and central. Lovely. And we're going to do one more. And then bring the foot in front of the other one, so we're on the tightrope. Hold it, lifting up, looking straight ahead of you, relax the shoulders, and just make sure you're not just leaning into the back foot though. But keep the weight central. Try not to fidget. Watch those feet aren't moving around. Awesome. Okay, bring the feet back underneath the hips. This is not a squat, this is just to get a nice stretch in the calves. So all you're going to do, I mean, don't collapse, but just literally just bend the knees and stretch. Just bend and stretch. So I'm not trying to do sort of any sort of weird archy thing. I'm just bending them. I'm keeping the heels on the floor, and I can feel when I bend my knees, I get this nice stretch in the tendons, yeah? And the Achilles and the calves, and those muscles can get really quite tight. When they're tight, they can cause tight feet and all kinds of different things that go wrong. So it's just a really nice, easy bend and stretch. And think about having the knees tracking like the midline of the foot. So you're not rolling out or rolling in, they're staying right in the center. Good, and we're not, you know, we're not collapsing, we're staying up. It's always like, it's that thing as well, as you're going down, you're being pulled up. Always, whenever you're going down, you're being pulled up, and that's your core supporting you. Lovely, we're going to do 2 more of those. And then last one. Okay, all right. Okay. I need to wee. Right, sorry, too much information. Okay, so we're going to do a nice little roll down, okay? You can either choose to go halfway or you can go all the way. If you've got any disc issues, protruding discs, disc bulges, stuff like that, probably just do a half roll down and that's fine. Take your breath in, exhale, roll from the crown of the head. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Inhale, exhale, scoop the belly and rolling up. Head comes up last. Inhale again, remember as you exhale and go down, lift up first and then roll down. Inhale there, exhale, scoop the belly and roll up. And we're going to do one more, take a breath in, exhale, roll down, inhale there, and exhale to roll up. Well done, guys. That was super duper. I'm going to make a swift exit now because I need to tinkle. Guys, have a brilliant rest of the evening and I'll see you soon. Take care.